Overachievers.
Overachievers. And then what goes in that group are women who don't know how to ask for help.
Now, is this all of us, or is it just worse when you got a mother wound?
No, there are women who ask for help, but you have to understand the having a mother wound as a Black woman is almost guaranteed. Unless you had a mother who really had someone in her life help her evolve. And I want to clarify this. You can have a mother wound and still have a cool relationship with your mother. Think of it as a spectrum, right? So you could talk to your mother every day, y'all hang out all the time, but somewhere your autonomy is you have sacrificed some of your autonomy to maintain the relationship with your mother.
Meaning you are going to sacrifice yourself. There's some things you might not talk about. There
might be small things
you can keep the
so
peace.
you can keep the peace. But it doesn't mean that she talks junk to you, or y'all don't hang out together or go places or have wonderful conversations. But that you're not going to tell her about the new job you're thinking about getting that would move you across the country. You're not going to tell her that. You're not going to tell her that you met a new guy, because when you bring up that, this thing happens. That you're not going to tell her your clothes don't fit, because she already said stuff about your weight. When you come to her house, you better be dressed to the nines. Otherwise, she going to, talk bad about you in some sort of way.
What about this one? You're not going to tell her about your accomplishments, because there's not going to be a congratulations. There's not going to be any.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There's not, ma'am, don't make me pass out. Yeah.
All right, just further in the conversation. What's wrong, Cookie?
I just feel very blessed in this moment. Sorry, I just got through eating like a whole meal. um, because not one inkling of my mother made me feel that way. And the fact that so many people are like, yeah, and you can't, yeah. I'm like, a part of me is like, are they for real? Are they being dramatic? Because like, I think, and it's making me a little sad, because growing up under, I guess, sheltered or structure, like Allie said, it's kind of like when you hear people talk like that, you're like, what? Why would you tell your mom about a job? Why wouldn't you tell your mom about accomplishments? What do you mean? Like, why do you have to be dressed up to go see your mom? Why can't you gain a little weight and your mom not, and you not accepted as like your mom being like, yeah, girl, baby, you put on some weight? Because my grandma was straight up saying like, you get thick. So I mean, my thing about it is, I'm trying to understand, are these mother wounds coming from sensitive ass people? Because what she described to me was just like love. But I mean, I think it depends on how you accept it. It has a lot to do with mother wounds. Now that I'm learning more and more about it, um, I just feel thankful that I didn't have to grow up in the household. Now, my dad was a Marine. He set things straight. It was whatever. He was the leader of the house. And that's just how I grew up. But I just don't. That video shocked me a little bit, that was actually a real conversation that they were having, and it kind of made me sad. That's all.
I think it's funny that Cookie said that, because I think it really just comes down to the person's reality, right? Like, because a lot of things that Cookie was saying, I grew up the same type of grandmother that will point out when I gained a little weight. My mom will say it. And when I talk to my friends, I can be just as blunt as my people can be. And they'll say, like, oh my God, Taye, you're being mean. And to me, it's not mean. It's just honest. But I have to check myself sometimes, because everyone doesn't perceive your reality the same way, right? Like, you can think you're just telling them something that may be true, but to them, it hurts their feelings. To them, it's going to cause a scar. on them. So I just think it's all about perception when we're talking about this mother wound thing and how people take on what their parents say and do to them. Some of us have thicker skin than others. Some of us can take a little bit more. Like you said, you came from a military background. My father was in the Army. My mother was in the Navy. I was born on a Navy base. So I have a totally different mindset when it comes to certain things. It takes a little bit more to hurt my feelings, but I can say that my grandmother, when I was really young, saying that my thighs were bigger than hers as an adult woman did make me think like, okay, now I stay in the gym. I'm always working out, you know? And one person can say, well, that's a good thing. Now you're extremely healthy because of that, you know, that mental statement that she put over you. But at the same time, she gave me something to be self-conscious about all the time. And I have to be careful with how she talks to my daughter as she gets older about her weight. So, I mean, I think it's all about perception and how you take on certain things and the type of person that you are.
I also
I
was just
like
gonna, it's about how you measure things too, because my husband and I literally were having a conversation yesterday at dinner, and he brought up, he was like, yeah, I remember, like, if you listen to your sisters in a way that your brother talked about your dad sounded like a demon and your mom sounded like an angel or whatever.
what?
Um, yeah. So he was talking about, you know, like at least your dad was there, right? You, at least you had a dad. And I think a lot of times that's what it is. A lot of people take their own personal experiences and look through the lens of their experiences. So for him, what it was like, when I look at my situation or my friends, none of us had our dads at all. And so I'm like, well, you're judging from the, let's say, lowest standard. So anything better than that lowest standard is going to seem better. Whereas if there was, for me, I had my dad in terms of being physically present, right? But not involved in the family, so to speak, right? But I had other men in my life that I was able to see what good parenting from a dad looks like. So I'm comparing my experience with my father through the experience that I saw around me of other good fathers. So, you know, so we were discussing how your own experiences impact the way that you see things. And sometimes it makes it difficult to empathize with other people because of your experiences. And sometimes it needs you to kind of check yourself out from what your experiences are to truly understand what other people have gone through and how that has impacted them. So yeah, I'll leave it at that.